You know that feeling, right? When you're just trying so hard to get everyone kind of on the same page.
Oh, absolutely. Like with friends or family, or even at work sometimes.
Yeah, maybe a friend seems stuck, or a relative just sees things totally differently, or you just wish people would, see your logic. It feels like you're constantly swimming upstream.
It really does. And that urge to manage what other people think or do, it's just so deep-seated. We care, obviously, but we end up pouring so much energy into things we can't actually control.
Exactly. And that's pretty much where we're diving in today. We've been reading The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, just came out this year from Hay House.
Right.
And it offers this really liberating, maybe even slightly counterintuitive way to handle all that.
It does.
So our mission here is to really unpack the core ideas and see how using this let them approach might genuinely cut down stress and, maybe even improve relationships by shifting your focus.
Shifting it back to yourself, basically, which is the core idea right at the start of the book.
Yeah.
It says something like, the problem isn't you. The problem is the power you unknowingly give to other people. It's about recognizing how much headspace we give to trying to control what others think and do.
And she starts with this fantastic story, her son's prom night. So relatable for parents, I think.
Oh, yeah, the proms.
She'd done it twice before with daughters, thought she had it down, right? But this time, just chaos.
Like a comedy of errors. The wrong corsage, no dinner plans for a big group. Suddenly it's pouring rain.
Total movie scene. And what's great is how it shows that default mode we have, wanting to fix everything, make it perfect according to our plan.
The parents, Mel included, were scrambling, trying to find a restaurant last minute, basically trying to orchestrate this perfect night for them.
Right, but then she has this moment, like a real turning point. She just sort of, let's go.
Yeah.
Hands her son $40 for, their local taco place, Amigos, she calls it.
A tiny spot, yeah.
And just says, have a great prom. And they head out into the rain, no umbrellas, no reservations.
And that's when it hits her.
Exactly. She realizes, I can't control what others say, think, and I poured my energy into what I can control me. That shift is just massive.
It really is. Because by stopping the micromanaging and focusing on her own reaction, her own calm, she actually felt more in control. It was liberating, she says.
So the insight is, true control isn't about manipulating the outside world.
No. It's mastering your internal response.
Which leads right into the other half of the equation, the let me part. The book gets into this more later.
Right, because just letting go of controlling others isn't the whole story. You have to turn that focus inward.
And chapter 2 has another personal story where she felt left out when some girlfriends went on a trip without her. And that immediate reaction, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this?
That's so human, isn't it? Trying to manage the situation to make ourselves feel better. The book uses this seesaw analogy here.
Oh, the seesaw, yeah. Explain that.
Well, when you're trying to control others or fix things like that, you often end up feeling lower on the seesaw, right? Feeling insecure, maybe inadequate, like Mel felt about being excluded.
Okay, gotcha. So saying let them.
It's like getting a push-up on your end of the seesaw. You start to rise, those negative feelings start to ease off a bit.
And then comes the let me. So in her case,
she realized, let me stop expecting others to always include me. It wasn't about them, really. It was about her. Let me take responsibility for what I want in my life. Let me be more proactive about the connections I value. So taking ownership.
That's powerful. It shifts the dynamic completely. You're not waiting for them anymore.
Exactly. The book phrases it as, let me figure out the deeper issue. Let me prioritize my social life. It is my responsibility to create one.
So she reached out to those friends again?
Yeah, but crucially, not out of obligation or hoping for a future invite, but because she genuinely valued the friendship. It came from her desire.
And this isn't just for big emotional stuff either, right? The book uses a really simple example.
The pharmacy line. We've all been there.
Totally. Stuck behind someone slow, you feel that irritation building.
You want to maybe sigh loudly or give a look.
Right. But that's when you deploy the let them.
Let them take their time.
It doesn't make the line move faster, obviously.
No miracle there, but it protects you. It stops a small annoyance becoming this big internal stress fest.
And there's a bit in the book from Dr. Aditi about stress putting our brains in survival mode.
Yeah, that when we're stressed like that, our patience just evaporates. Our rational thinking kind of goes offline.
So by saying let them in those little daily frustrations, you're actually protecting your own brain space.
Pretty much. Choosing your reaction becomes this form of self-care.
And the let me in the pharmacy line, what's that look like?
It's actively managing your own physical stress response. Like the book mentions deep breathing.
Right, the vagus nerve thing.
Exactly. Sending that signal to your brain. It's okay. Calm down. Taking control of your internal state when the external is annoying.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How does this apply at work? Chapter 3 tackles this.
Oh, hugely relevant. Think about feeling like you're being strung along for a promotion.
Ugh, yeah, been there. You get fixated on the boss, what they're thinking, what magic words you need to say.
Constantly trying to figure out the game. But the book is pretty blunt here.
How so?
It basically says trying to control your boss's decision is usually pointless. Let them string you along.
Ouch, that's tough to hear if you feel you've really earned it.
It is. But the key is the next step, the let me part in your career.
Okay, so instead of banging your head against that wall.
You take ownership of your career path. The book uses this great imagery talking about a kick-ass boss and a desk next to a window that might be waiting for you somewhere else.
Right. It's your career, your responsibility to find the right fit.
Exactly. The core insight is, like, if you can't control the current situation, focus your energy on creating a new one. That's empowering.
And the practical let me actions.
Update the resume, get networking, actually carve out time outside work to look for other jobs instead of just, stewing about the current one.
Channeling that frustration into something productive.
Precisely. Moving on to Chapter 4, this introduces the poop and politics rule, which sounds intriguing.
It does. What's that about?
It basically highlights that let them doesn't mean you just become totally passive about everything. Sometimes you do need to step in.
Okay, so it's not about being a doormat.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
The story she uses is about a dog walker in a park.
Ah, okay.
Initially, her attitude towards dogs being off leash was kind of let them, live and let live.
Right.
But then an owner lets their dog do its business right in the middle of the path and just walks off.
Oh, no. That's different.
Exactly. That crossed a clear boundary. So let them stopped, and she intervened. It was necessary.
So how do you know when to intervene?
The book offers this hour, week, year test. Ask yourself, will this still bother me or have negative consequences in an hour, a week, a year?
Yeah.
That's useful.
If the answer is yes, especially for the week or year mark, it's probably worth addressing. The insight is that let them is about being discerning, not just passive.
Choosing your battles wisely.
You got it. And then there's politics. Obviously a huge source of stress if you focus on other people's opinions.
Tell me about it.
So let them have their views. You can't control that. And let me focus on what I can control, my own actions, my voice, how I engage, how I protect my own peace.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, Chapter 5 tackles something huge. Fear of judgment.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying something new, right? Starting a business, putting yourself out there online.
Totally. Mel shares her own story about this. Apparently, it took her 2 years to start posting about her speaking business on social media.
2 years. Wow.
Just because she was worried about what friends and family might think.
That's incredible. But also, sadly, very relatable. All that energy spent trying to craft the perfect post, worrying about likes.
Your anxiety, yeah.
And the freedom, the book argues, comes when you accept that people will have opinions. Some might even be negative.
Let them.
Let them. Your energy is better spent on your own goals, your own values, not managing potential criticism. Focusing on your why is the way through that fear.
Right. But then Chapter 6 adds a nuance, doesn't it? It's not about just letting people walk all over you.
Exactly. It's not being a doormat, but it's also not being a bulldozer. It's finding a balance.
Okay.
There's a story about a super busy weekend, a friend's birthday, visiting grandparents, trying to juggle everything.
Sounds familiar.
And the point is, you have to make choices based on what feels right to you, what makes you feel proud of how you handled it, not just trying to please everyone.
Because someone will probably be disappointed anyway.
Pretty much. As the book says, someone is always going to be disappointed. Don't ever let it be you.
Yeah.
Don't let guilt run the show.
Okay. Then Chapter 7 zooms in on family. Why is this often harder with family?
Well, families have history, right? Deep roots, complex systems. So opinions and expectations can be really intense.
Makes sense. They might react more strongly when you change or do something unexpected.
Exactly. And the book specifically mentions blended families too, stepchildren, stepparents.
Oh, yeah, that adds another layer.
Let them is
No.
crucial there. Allowing stepkids the space to maybe grieve or see the stepparent as a threat initially without taking it personally.
That sounds incredibly difficult.
It is. And the let me for the step-parent is vital. Operating with grace, patience, compassion, focusing on your response, not forcing their acceptance.
Building trust over time, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Which leads nicely into Chapter 8 and this idea of frame of reference.
Frame of reference, what's that?
It's a concept from Lisa Beaulieu that Mel shares. It's about trying to understand why someone holds a certain belief, even if you disagree, seeing things from their viewpoint.
Okay, give me an example.
Mel talks about her mom initially disapproving of her marrying someone from the East Coast.
Right.
From Mel's side, it felt like judgment, lack of support. But when she considered her mom's frame of reference,
What was it?
fear. Fear of losing her daughter geographically, of them moving far away.
Okay. That changes things.
Right. It didn't mean her mom was right to disapprove, but understanding the fear behind it allowed for empathy instead of just resentment. Both perspectives had their own validity.
So understanding their frame can lead to more connection, even if you still disagree.
Precisely. It fosters compassion.
So Chapter 9 kind of wraps up this core loop, right?
It summarizes it nicely. You have a trigger, something happens, then your automatic reaction, emotion pops up, and then the solution. Let them think for what they do, and let me focus on my values, my actions, what makes me proud.
Let them freeze you from needing approval. Let me aligns you with yourself.
You got it. Then Chapter 10 hits on something interesting. Emotional contagion.
Like catching feelings.
Kind of. It's about how taking on other people's negative stuff, their disappointment, their anger, their guilt, makes you put yourself last all the time.
Okay, so what's the antidote?
Just let them react. Give them space for their feelings without jumping in to fix it or manage it for them.
Their emotional reaction isn't my responsibility? Is that the idea?
Exactly. Dr. Ann Davin gets credit for that insight in the book. It also mentions adult childlike behavior.
Like what?
Like this silent treatment. Immature ways people handle emotions they haven't processed.
Right.
And the message is, that's not your fault, not your problem to solve. Your job is to protect yourself from it.
But what if I'm the one reacting immaturely sometimes?
Good question. The book addresses that too. You can't stop emotions arising, but you can let them rise up and then fall without reacting automatically. Choose a better response.
Okay. It also mentions how things like being hungry or tired make us more reactive.
Totally. Emotions are contagious, and our own state affects how easily we catch them or react badly.
Moving on to friendships. Chapters 11 and 12 talk about adult friendships.
Which can be tricky, right? Making them, keeping them, sometimes losing them.
Definitely. The book talks about the great scattering. What's that?
It's that natural shift. When we're young, friendship is often a group thing based on proximity school, college.
Yeah.
But as adults, life happens. Jobs, moving, partners, kids. We scatter.
Yeah. Things change.
And the book mentions 3 pillars: proximity, timing, and energy. In adulthood, these often shift, causing friendships to naturally fade sometimes.
So let them hear me.
Let friends have their own lives, their own priorities, without taking it personally if the connection changes. Accept the natural ebb and flow.
Okay, accepting that friendships might change or fade isn't a personal failure.
Right, it's often just life.
But what about making new friends as an adult? Chapter 13 offers some hope there.
Yeah, especially if you've moved or gone through a big change and feel lonely. The advice is give it a year.
A whole year?
Yeah. Finding your people takes time. Mel uses her daughter's college adjustment as an example. It doesn't happen overnight.
That's reassuring.
And she shares her own experience of feeling lonely after a move and realizing she wasn't really putting in the effort. The let me part was missing.
So you have to be proactive.
Exactly. Adopt the habit of going first. Initiate conversations, introduce yourself, offer your number.
Small steps.
Tiny steps. She tells stories about meeting new friends at a coffee shop, connecting with a neighbor. It often starts small. Building that social scaffolding takes time and conscious effort.
And applying let them to new friendships, too.
Yeah, if someone isn't friendly back or seems busy or cancels plans, let them. Don't take it personally. Stay open.
Okay, shifting again, chapters 14 and 15 get into trying to change other people. Something we all want to do sometimes, right? For loved ones.
Well, for sure. We want them to be healthier, happier, make better choices.
But pressuring them usually backfires.
Totally. The book cites Dr. Sherritt on our need for control. Pushing makes people dig their heels in. Change is hard, and usually they already know what they should do.
So the most loving thing is often just, let them be.
Yeah, except they're on their own timeline. Adults change when they feel like it.
But you can influence them, right? Just not control them.
Exactly. You can inspire. Modeling the behavior yourself is powerful. like the example of a coworker just going for daily walks.
Okay. And there's this ABC loop method.
Yeah, based on motivational interviewing.
Mm.
A, apologize for pressuring, then ask open-ended questions about their feelings, genuinely curious.
Okay.
B, back off. Give them space. Observe their behavior without judgment.
And C.
Celebrate any small progress they make while you continue to model the change yourself. Positive reinforcement works wonders. The goal is they feel the change is their idea.
Gotcha. Now, chapters 16 and 17, these deal with really heavy situations. Loved ones struggling with mental health, addiction.
Yeah, really tough stuff. And the book delivers a hard truth here.
And
not everyone is ready or able to get better. And you can't want it more than they do.
Wow.
And trying to rescue them can actually backfire. It can stop them from finding their own strength.
Can you give an example of that?
Mel talks about letting her anxious daughter sleep on her floor, seemingly kind, but it enabled avoidance of the real issue. Or the example of a brother refusing to loan money, forcing the other person to figure things out themselves. Let them struggle sometimes.
Letting natural consequences happen, that's hard.
Incredibly hard, but the book draws a line between rescuing and supporting.
Okay, what's supportive look like?
Practical help, cleaning, cooking, just sitting with someone. Being present without fixing. Offering consistent love and belief in them without enabling the problematic behavior. Being a beacon of hope.
Okay, let's talk relationships. Chapters 18 and 19 focus on romance.
Right. Dating these days. It's tough. The book stresses being authentically yourself.
And being black and white about behavior.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words. That classic line, if they like you, you'll know. If they don't, you'll be confused.
Cuts right through it.
It does. So let them in dating means if their behavior is inconsistent, confusing, lukewarm, let that be your answer.
They're showing you you're not a priority.
Exactly. And the let me is accepting that truth and stopping the chase. Don't waste your time.
The book mentions the ABC loop here too, but differently.
Yeah, more for observing compatibility over time, maybe 3 months or so. Not expecting to change them, but seeing if you actually align. It also mentions the Gottman statistic.
Oh, the 69% one.
Yeah, the 69% of relationship problems are basically unsolvable. They're about fundamental differences. So choosing someone compatible from the start is key.
Wow. Okay, then chapter 20 tackles heartbreak. Oof.
Yeah, directly confronts the pain and dismisses the unhelpful, just love yourself advice when you're hurting.
What does it suggest instead?
Practical stuff. A therapist's no contact for 30 days, rule to break patterns. Acknowledging it takes time to grieve, maybe around 3 months, research suggests.
And the let me during grief?
Let yourself feel sad, let yourself cry, let yourself not reach out, even when you want to.
Resisting that urge.
And then actionable steps. Refresh your space, especially the bedroom. Lean on friends. Fill your calendar. Find a new challenge. Focus on your future self.
Concrete things to do.
Yeah, to actively move through it.
So the conclusion kind of brings it all home, right?
Definitely. It circles back to the most important relationship.
Yeah.
The one with yourself.
Let them be them.
So you can finally let me be me. Good relationships with others start with how you treat yourself, respecting your boundaries, having self-compassion, going after your dreams without waiting for permission.
The power is internal.
Exactly. Like the sky analogy in the book, you can't control the weather, external events, but you can control your response. Taking back your power means taking responsibility for your life, focusing where you do have influence.
It's not easy, probably takes practice.
For sure. It's a journey, not an overnight switch. But the book argues it's the path to a happier, more empowered life.
So wrapping up, the let them theory is fundamentally about this shift, isn't it?
Yeah, a massive shift. Stop trying to control everyone and everything outside of you. Release that.
And turn that energy inwards, the let me. Understand your reactions, manage them, align your actions with your values.
Exactly. We've seen how it applies to, well, pretty much everything. Daily stress, family, friends, work, dating, breakups.
It's about freeing yourself from that exhausting cycle of trying to control the uncontrollable.
Yeah. So as you're listening, maybe think about where you might be pouring energy into managing others right now. Which parts of this let them, let me idea really clicked for you?
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. What might change, even just slightly, in your daily life if you consciously decided to practice let them in just one tricky situation this week, and then really deliberately took that saved energy and focused it back on let me on yourself? What could that look like?